Welcome to British Business, The Bottom Line. Every week, me and Matt sit down to talk about the real stuff, the news affecting your business, the lessons we've learned the hard way, and the things nobody tells you when you're running your own show. Whether you're just starting out or you've been at it for years, this one's for you. I'm Charlie Smith.
And I'm Matt Holland.
Let's get into it.
Morning, Matthew.
Morning, Charles. So someone said to me, actually, at the start of the episodes, they find that when they first started listening to the podcast, they don't know who we are or what we do. We just kind of presume that
everyone knows.
Everyone knows who Matt Holland is and who Charlie Smith is, because that's not an unoriginal name. So who are you, Charlie, and what do you do? Because my friend Sally, just for context, my friend Sally, who's got she's got a really great business called Caterpillar Cross Stitch.
Me and Sally are like that now across all social platforms.
Are you?
Yeah, right, well, all over them, following left, right, and centre on all of them.
So you're all into followed.
Yeah, like that.
That's good.
We come together like magnet and steel.
Is she? Have you communicated or?
No, not really. Just a comment on a post.
Right, nice. She's got an amazing business, but she was like
2 businesses, right? 2?
Yeah. I'm not sure she's got 2. She might.
I think there's two different brands online. Both have got a decent following. Yeah, very interesting.
She's got good.
Just moving into their first office. Sorry to interrupt you.
Second office. It's a bigger office. Okay. She's got a very good personal brand following, actually.
I think that might be what I'm talking about.
Yeah. She's got the it's Caterpillar Cross Stitch. People should check it out. But she was like, "Who is Charlie?"
Oh,
and I was like, "You don't know who Charlie Smith is?" So who is? So can you just explain, summarising? I know it's a big thing to talk about, but literally 15 seconds.
Okay. Charlie Smith, owner and director of Abacus Repro Limited, with brands underneath, which our main one is Workwear Innovation. So we put your brand on stuff. I'm the father of 3 children. I have 2.5-year-old twins and a nearly 5-year-old. Abacus Repro is a family business, still very family orientated. What else do you want to know about me?
Are you winning or failing or losing?
Bit of both. I think it changes depending on the day. Still fighting through the struggle. We're like 4 years in now, Workwear Innovation. So we're still very much in like the growth phase, really. Probably not happy enough with the level and the speed of the growth, so trying to push through that. Never got any money. Cash flow's always tight. What
how
else
many
is there?
How many people do you employ?
11
UK?
total.
And what's your gross turnover? Rough estimate.
800,000.
Should have just said £1 million, mate.
Well, I'm not lying. I'm not here to gloss it up. Not here glossing it up.
It's an aspirational fact.
You asked me what my current turnover was.
Okay, darling. What I'm saying is, what do you think your turnover is going to be this year?
1.057.
Yeah, so that's the number you need to tell people, because that's what you're going to do. It's a mindset thing.
Yeah.
Me. Do we need to do me?
No, we've covered your life quite a lot, I think.
But maybe there's that one person.
What if someone's finding it for the first time? Maybe we should do a little intro at the start. We should probably get this up. Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Workwear Innovation. This is Matt.
Well, the reason I was saying it is I think we need to redo the intro and include... But that wouldn't work either.
Matt Holland is a 5-time award-winning
geezer from the north.
Oh, guardian of the wool.
And I'm a cockney.
Wanna be one. No, there's a bit more West Country in me, I think, than anything.
Oh, do you know what was hilarious when we got we went down to Dover to get the ferry over to France? Went into this pub and it was like a proper like Kent boozer, like quite heavy duty blokes, tanned, like dark tan, with like teeth have been done.
Teeth done. I thought you meant teeth missing.
No, sat around the bar, just like chilling, Quite an
Yeah.
intimidating environment, actually, for a lonely northerner.
Yeah.
And I walked in, I was like, I said, when I went to order, I was like, what is going on here? Is this some kind of like Kent mafia gathering?
And what did the person behind the bar say to you when you ordered your glass of prosecco?
Ha 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 ha. Well, I don't drink, do I, mate? I'm teetotal.
Teetotal.
I'd be dangerous with alcohol in me. Fucking hell, you don't want that.
Come on then, tell us about you. Who are you? Where'd you come from?
So I'm Matt Holland. Oh dear. I'm Matt Holland. I run a group of online retail businesses. We've got a company in India for offshore resourcing. We have a commercial property company, and our group turnover is probably circa on track to do 14-15 million quid turnover this year.
You totally knew you were going to be saying that today, didn't you? That was all planned because that is so well rehearsed. I've been stitched up with like, tell us a bit about you, and you've had this full spiel, this little intro practiced.
The stitch up is not happened yet, mate.
Fuck off.
Do you want to hear the title of the episode? Because that was the other bit of feedback that Sally gave us. She says, I don't really know what you're talking about until halfway through it.
But that is the point, isn't it? That we like a waffle.
Yeah. And I said that, and I said, neither does Charlie, but it works.
Charlie didn't have a Scooby. Charlie asked what we were talking about today, and you said, all will be revealed, my boy.
Oh, dear.
Go on then, episode 82.
Episode 82. Good. You've interrupted my thing there.
Sorry.
I'll start again. Be quiet. Episode 82. Good, great, or kidding yourself?
Oh, fucking hell.
So, the theory behind this episode has sprung out from a conversation between me and Paul from Dispatch Bros. We were nattering on about, and we've covered a little bit of this topic before, so I don't want to delve like too much into repetitiveness, but this is kind of a different angling. It's how do you measure the success of an entrepreneur? What makes a shit entrepreneur? What makes a good entrepreneur? And what makes a great entrepreneur? How do we measure that? And it's also inspired a little bit by the episode that you did on their podcast, where you guys were talking a lot about balance. And Paul mentioned to me a little bit, like we were talking about James Sinclair's latest YouTube video, which we mentioned on the podcast last week, but just like that struggle, that kind of stretching beyond the comfort level, like what's he in pursuit of, etc., etc. So that's today's topic, if you like. But before we get into it, Charlie, what is your win of the week?
Here we go. My win of the week. Last week we touched on. We were discussing 90-day plans. We talked about some systems and processes and the things that we were changing in our kind of production area, how we were going to process orders. And we talked about trying to sell that to, well, we didn't have to sell it, but we talked about kind of outlining that to the team and trying to get buy-in. And then we've also talked in the past about kind of giving people room to fail. So I'm happy to report that we did give people the room to fail. No one's failed yet, which is fantastic. So on Monday, Tom had a little briefing with Kieran. They outlined it to the rest of the production team about how we were going to try and work things from now, just to try and improve the customer experience and also improve kind of our own living conditions and take us from being a little bit less back of fag packet to something that's a little bit more legit. So the idea being is that we try and set ourselves up for the business that we want to be, as opposed to like the business that we are now or we were 6 months ago. And I didn't get involved in it. Just watching reels. Did I bore you that much with my win of the week? Just started watching reels.
I went to post something on Instagram. I was going to post a story.
And yeah, I wasn't involved in the conversations. I wasn't involved in the planning. I wasn't involved in the rollout. I wasn't involved in the setup. I wasn't involved in kind of winning the hearts and minds of the team. And everything has been really, really good so far. And we're midway. We're midway, nearly through week one of that, and things are good. More orders are leaving leaving the building. Everything's cleaner, tidier, more organised, more structured. And actually, when I go in there and I walk down in through the warehouse, I feel quite proud, actually. But I haven't done any of it, which I think more proud of.
Fantastic win. My view on that is what you need to do as the MD is you need to now just challenge and hold to account. Because what I see is we often go through that cycle. People step up, they're more accountable, there's more ownership of responsibility, things get squared away. But then what happens is it's a steady drift down, and your job as the entrepreneur MD is just to keep knocking it back up and asking questions, challenging them, going, whoa, what's going on over here, etc., etc.
Agreed.
And you and Tom both need to do that jointly. Like when Tom's there, he's your eyes and ears. When you're there, you're Tom's eyes and ears. Like, you've got to be like properly all over that shit.
Yeah, I think from my point of view, I would be thinking more so. I obviously have got a lot more experience in that space than what Tom has. Not from in a leadership perspective. You know, like 9-10 years in retail, holding people to account and trying to raise standards are pretty much your bread and butter of your day to day. So those sorts of things, seeing those things, calling those things, and putting rituals and routines in place to try and maintain those things and improve those things is kind of like commonplace. So I feel like I've got a lot more experience there, but what I need to do is ensure that kind of Tom is seeing the same things as what I am, and together, like magnet and steel, we're pushing in the same direction, really. And then kind of just leave that to him so that I can focus on what I need to focus on.
Nice. That's really good.
It's good. What about yourself?
My win of the week is I think I've found what I've been looking for in terms of adding some level of automation to our operation. So probably about 3 months ago, I went and saw the PO warehouse. Jacob Lockwood actually joined me on that. Me and him met up, and he came and had a look around it as well, just for a bit of banter. That's quite an expensive setup. Like, you're talking £500,000 to deploy something, like a lot of capex. So then what I started looking at was like, what automations can we put in our new warehouse? So I'm talking like robotics or automated packing stations or conveyor belts, etc., etc. Because at the moment we're fully barcode set up, like
a lot of walking.
It's very slick. It is very slick, but the bottleneck, what I thought about was the bottleneck is the packing benches typically. But I think sometimes that is a poor shift management on the actual shift, where what they do is they pick everything and then they go to pack everything. Whereas what has to happen is you need to slowly feed your benches, picking trolleys consistently, so that the packers don't get overwhelmed. So that's like a shift management thing that our operation has failed at a little bit, I would say. But still, I would say that the bottleneck is the packing station. So I've been doing some research, and I found a Chinese company, family business.
I think I know what you're going to say.
And basically, I found what I want, which is a autonomous packing station where you scan the item, you drop it in the bag, it seals the bag for you, it prints the label onto it, and boom.
Yeah, I've watched so many videos of these. They are incredible. They are amazing. It's so quick.
Yeah. My mentor said to me, he said, "That looks fantastic, Matt, but is it health and safety compliant? Is it going to tear someone's arm off?" And I was like, "I don't know that yet, but I'll find out."
Yeah, defo. I've seen these. They're literally like a station. You stand in front of it, screen top, scan, boot, drop it, goes into an empty bag. The bag gets sealed and cut. It drops down into a conveyor belt and it's off. Mm-hmm. And literally they're just chucking items in, aren't they? Beep, drop, beep, drop, beep, drop.
So based on some conversations I've had, I reckon it'll take. So our most experienced packer, or our best packer, would probably be Lucas, provided obviously I'm not in the warehouse. Obviously very
self-proclaimed best packer.
Yeah, 100%, way better than the rest of those.
Careful. Careful. You'll go back from France. The place will be empty.
Yeah, those fantastic members of staff that we have.
You'll be like, oh, it's a farm again.
Oh, isn't this great? Peace. Peace. It's that story of the fisherman in South America. Yeah, no, what was I saying? So our best packer, Lucas, will probably be able to pack 100 orders in an hour, or between 80 and 100, if he had me next to him competing with him, so he was performing at his best, let's just say that. I reckon this station will probably do 200 to 300, 250 orders an hour easily for single item orders. So just basically, it's a little bit of research and development I've been doing, and that's my win of the week. I think I've identified it. I had a call with Chinese today, pretty exciting. And the cost, I'm not going to say the cost, but the cost is less than I expected.
Interestingly, as well, that is not a replacement to a human being, is it?
I wouldn't say it's a replacement. I would say it will reduce the need to hire additional warehouse operatives in peak. So unfortunately for the UK economy, yes, I would say it would have been, if we didn't have a station like that, and obviously a concept needs to be proved and stuff, I think it probably means that someone isn't going to have a job for 4 or 5 months of the year.
Okay.
So, but it means our existing team, we protect, we build a fortress around them, the business becomes more profitable, everyone can get paid a little bit more, and the business is more efficient and more productive and more profitable. But it means we can grow and scale without needing to hire as many staff. Or, yeah, exactly. So that's my little win of the week, Charles.
Nice, mate. Love it.
How's kids' holidays going for you?
First week this week, negotiated pretty well. Hannah has been very well planned, so that's been good. I've had 2 days with Master Finley, the last 2 days. I ended up standing in the middle of a cricket field yesterday. It was 32 degrees. I was in full cricket whites for some reason, because that's the obsession. We've got to get dressed up for the occasion. We're not allowed just playing shorts and t-shirt, and we played there for a few hours. So it was very, very nice. Don't get me wrong, very nice, but I'm kind of 2 days out of the loop a little bit. I've managed to pick my laptop up here and there and do a bit and keep my hand in, but 2 days out of the loop with work. But God, isn't it hard? Isn't it hard?
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. I've found it hard this last week. You said before on the failed edit that we had, because we had another technical issue, but this seems to have settled down now. But you asked me, Matt, you look tense at the moment. I think it's just the heat. It was like 40 degrees here yesterday centigrade. And I decided to do a workout in the sunshine next to the pool, which was funny. My heart rate was like 20 beats per minute higher than it normally is for that same workout. So, yeah, I think it's just been warm here. But I do feel a little bit tense. I think change of environment's really good, but there's been like a bedding in period of around 5 or 6 days. And when we filmed last week, I didn't feel myself, to be honest with you. No. I was a bit pissed off and miffed. And I felt that episode was a bit shit as well, to be honest with you. But my plan this week is to basically only do 20 hours work, and I've done about 12 so far. Today I'm not working, I'm just doing this. I think I need to sort one little thing out with the banking, which will take me half an hour, and then I'm done. And then tomorrow I've got 2 calls. I've got a catch-up call with Rob and Sarah, the directors in my business. Just a weekly catch-up call. And then I think I've got another call after that, but then I'm done. So 2 hours tomorrow. So I'll be on track to do sub 20, which is a bit of a goal of mine. And I'm hoping then to maintain that throughout the rest of the break. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, should be good. Should we do fact of the week?
Please.
Of the UK's 5.7 million businesses, only around 2.7 million are registered for VAT or PAYE. The rest, more than half, do not appear on those registers at all. Source, ONS, Business Demography. Is that a word?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Lot of micro businesses in the UK.
There's a lot of self-employed, isn't there? A lot of one-man bands.
Yeah. Do you classify, so linking it into today's kind of framing, do you think that classifies them as great, good, or shit entrepreneurs?
Just being a one-man band?
Yeah. It's a loaded question, obviously. It's not necessarily what I think, but what do you think?
What you think? You think it's either kidding yourself, great, or good? Good, great, or kidding yourself?
I've not got. So the reason the title says "Kidding Yourself" is because I don't want to put shit in the title, but really the actual title is good, great, or shit.
No, I think it's good.
So middle ground.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think you or I can comment because I think it's, and this is the big framing I wanted to think about, is some people get hepped up, and I definitely have in the past, about what other people are doing. So you're looking at others going, oh, that person, this person, etc., etc. And I think it's on them to decide whether they're doing a good, great, or shit job. I don't think it's linked to revenue either, to be honest with you. What do you think?
I think I spend very little time worrying about anyone else. I probably spend too little, I think. Yeah. I think there's the odd thing that I see or am aware of, which I'm not all too judgmental about, if I'm honest. I've always been this kind of I've always found it really, really weird when people kind of put people down for being successful or for doing good things. And I've never been kind of like that critical of people, but I'm certainly aware of what others are doing, but I've never been that inclined to kind of dive deeper into it. Probably should do a little bit more, to be honest with you, just from an awareness point of view. But I think if you're focusing on yourself, on your business and the way you do things and the service you give to your customers, then I don't really know why you need to worry about anybody else.
I think there's two things there. There's, first of all, does your business need a competitor to succeed? Does the entrepreneur need a competitor to succeed? And then there's the person that is the entrepreneur, and should they or do they look at other people and have envy or, oh, I want that, or do you know what I mean? Do you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think a lot of people focus too much time on the envy part of it, though.
The enemy.
The envy.
The envy, right? Yeah. Interesting. I mean, for years,
it's interesting for you because you talk a lot about crushing people, and I see you get very emotive about it when you talk about those sorts of things.
Yeah. My view on it. This is interesting. So on that, is the fact, so those people that are not VAT registered, PAYE, not employing people, etc., are they succeeding or failing? Are they great, good, or shit entrepreneurs? It's all relative, and it's how they would assess themselves. That's what I would say. So that's the kind of episode over as far as that's concerned. But it creates the question of how you should you outward project or inward project. And I think for me, when I look back at my past, the reason for my success is probably my competitiveness and my drive. And interestingly, Sam Altman has come out. So is he the founder of OpenAI? Is he though, or was it Elon Musk? Who knows? Debatable. But he came out this week and said he's kind of realised that from a philosophical standpoint, or just looking at humanity as a whole, we will never actually reach what he described a couple of years ago as the 5-hour working week, because humans are competitive, and what will happen is people will be leveraging AI and utilising it, et cetera, where they could achieve the same level of output utilising AI and working 5 hours a week. But he thinks what will happen is people will compete with each other, and they'll still be working 40, 50 hours a week. They'll just be doing more and will be more productive as a planet. So I
can see that as well, by the way.
Yeah, my view is competitiveness, and having a competitor, having an enemy, is important in business. I think you need to do a competitor analysis. You need to know what the battlefield looks like, so you can navigate it. And if you don't do that, I'm a bit if you're just doing your own thing and you're operating blind to that, you need to win the customers, and your competitors are trying to win the same customer. So you need to understand them, and you need to compete with them. It's war. That's my mindset.
Yeah, okay.
So just explain to me, from your perspective, how do you compete without having that? Because I can't not have that negative, I'm going to crush, I'm going to destroy you.
Yeah, I think when people talk about the compete, though, they talk about kind of offering, don't they, and competing with a setup or b an offer of, and we're talking about the same thing across the board here, because there's lots and lots of people in our industry that are doing the same, doing the same thing. I feel like I am very competitive, but I'm also very, very sure about the direction of travel that we're taking and what we're doing, because I feel like that if we get that right, we will win anyway. Have I was beating around the bush there?
Yeah, I think you are. Yeah, I think you've
right. Okay,
you're
so
a little bit.
So I'm not really avoiding the question.
No. Sorry.
But if you're looking about competing with a customer in our space at the moment, you're looking at, what do they charge per decoration price? How quickly can they achieve that goal? How what bundle deals do they offer their customers? How do they target those customers, etc., etc.? And actually, what you get is the same people doing the same stuff, just across the board. It's just a grab for a bit of share. Prices dip, the margins get eroded, and actually you're kind of scrapping around for pieces. I always thought that by building relationships with business customers, by being vocal on social media, by educating, by trying to assist our customers more and be a little less transactional and offer a little bit more in that space, we would be more successful than those people that are purely just transactional for the same product range that everybody offers. Yeah. And I am still very much set on the fact that if we do that and do that well, we will be successful in our space. Which is kind of like why I think, and look, I'm not saying we're perfect, and I've already said before that I think from a socials point of view, from the content in which we're producing, I think we've taken a real dip lately, and I've kind of explained the reasons why. But if we can nail that, if we can be consistent with that, if we can do more of that, I think we will gain more customers, because more customers will want to work with us. Our offer is competitive anyway. Might not be the cheapest, but you're always going to find something cheaper from, someone that operates out of the garage or back bedroom or whatever it might be. But I feel like our offer will be good enough to gain customers, gain share, keep customers, and continue to grow. And that's kind of like my belief, which is why I am less inclined to worry about somebody else's website or somebody else's bundle deal price or somebody else's decoration price for sub 5,000 stitches, etc. Because I think that if we do the things that we say we're going to do right, we'll be successful.
So, question for you: what does workwear innovation look like when it's finished? When do you go, I'm happy with workwear, and I'm just talking about workwear innovation here. I'm happy we've succeeded. We've got to where I want to be. What does that business look like in terms of like revenue numbers? Like, do you want to be the market leader? Do you want to service Salisbury and the South a little bit?
Nah,
like
fuck that. I want to be everybody.
Right.
But by Christ, have people got a head start on us? Mind.
That's irrelevant.
It is irrelevant, but I'm telling you now, there's a big gap in this space. So we're coming to a market that's very, very late. So we're 4 years into something someone's been doing for the last 40 or 50 years.
I just disagree with you massively, and I'll tell you why.
I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm saying the gap between the bottom and the top is humongous.
Yeah, it's a point, but it's irrelevant.
And okay.
Like when you think about that gap, you're an innovator and a disruptor.
Yeah.
Throughout the history of humanity and kind of commerce, if you like, disruptors and innovators are the ones that have shot through to the top. Mm-hmm. So that kind of gap is actually your biggest strength. The fact that you're lean and that you can pivot, and that you can innovate and you can disrupt, and you can 100% get there. So that thing of you telling yourself that, oh, well, there's a massive thing. No, there's not. No, there's not. That's just time in the game. It's just time in the game. You are at a different perspective in your career. And the example I would use is myself. Like when we started doing the country clothing online, there were other bigger players. Brands did not want to work with us. So brands did not want to. There's a brand. I'll just tell the story. Alan Payne, right? Go on my website, Holland's Country Clothing. and you type in Alan Payne or navigate to the brand page. Those guys, I reached out to them twice, wrote them letters, reached out to them, did it 1 year, rejection. Did it. In fact, I think the first time they just ignored me. Second time, rejection. Third attempt, 3 years later, they were like, "We'll open an account." Like you're up against, when you're growing a business from where you and I was, like that kind of circa £1 million up to whatever your goal is. Like there is so much friction and so many obstacles, but it's all doable. But you have to disrupt and you have to innovate, in my opinion. Like I think for me, you becoming the market leader for embroidery and decorating for SMEs and or medium and large businesses, which is what I think you should aspire to be doing. I think you should cater for both of those, all three of those customers. I think it'd be silly not to. Like you can't cater for large right now, but you grow into SME, you grow into medium, and then you grow into large eventually. You can definitely do all of that, but you have to be consistent. Like that's and I think you need a competitor. Because competition helps growth. It does 100%.
Okay, it's funny. It's difficult to talk about some of these things because I feel like we're doing a lot of the disrupting and we are trying in certain areas. I don't want to talk about, I've always said I'd like to be honest, but it's difficult to tell everything. There's other people in our industry that listen to this podcast that we'd be a little bit silly to kind of lay everything out on the line. Happy to share one-to-one basis, blah, blah, blah. But I was speaking to a guy called Steve Palmer. He owns a company called SP Workwear, family orientated again. And we speak on LinkedIn. He does exactly the same as what we do. And we've challenged each other we're basically racing each other to the first 1 to 2 mil.
Good. I like that.
He said 2 years. I think I could do it in under 2 years. He set himself a challenge. He's a little bit further ahead in that space than me, only slightly. But I've raced him. I said, I'll beat you there. He said, you're on. So there is a bit in there.
Yeah,
there is a bit in there. It's not. I've always been a very competitive person, very sporting. I've always wanted to win. Even on a Saturday playing cricket now, Division 5, Hampshire League. I'm like, we're going there and we're going to win. I want the boys to win.
Yeah.
I want the kids to win. We do want it. I'm not like but I think that kind of that obsessive jealousy kind of like sometimes I think you need to have a little bit of a clearer head and you take it from I've fucked this up more times than I can count when I've been like hot-headed, fiery. I learned that lesson pretty early doors in the whole retail space. Just managed to avoid getting fired in the first 2 years of management, but I think it's good to have a good awareness of everything around you, of the different industries that's going on, a broad outlook about what's going on politically, a broad outlook of what's going on kind of economically, and then you plot your path.
I agree. It has to be strategic, and you have to
have a
plan.
It has to be.
You have to have a 90-day plan, etc., etc.
And you do that, even though you're very like, I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna kill you. You are very strategic.
Yeah, I think I always have been. I think just to kind of answer my own question as well, my kind of vision for Holland's Country Clothing is a monopoly. Like I want to, and I think it's very achievable. It's a much smaller space than embroidery, and I think we've got really strong foundations to achieve that. I think, and when I say monopoly, just to be clear, I mean a monopoly of retail. So I want to be the number one retailer in terms of volume of sales for every single brand that we deal with. That's the goal. Effectively, a little bit like, and if we look at the company, I would say like the JD group of the country market. So having a couple of different fascias, being very, very visible. Like if you want to have a good country clothing brand in the UK, you have to work with Holland's Country Clothing. That's the way it is. You have to work with Williams Swindells Limited. Otherwise, you're not going to be visible. You're not going to be relevant. We're not there yet. There's a lot of work to do, but that's that aggressive goal for that business. So yeah, and I think having a big, ridiculous goal like that, like I'm on a long journey as a result, or the business is sold on the journey. They're the two kind of conclusion points, I would say. But it'd have to be a big offer. I think retail excites me. Direct consumer brand is more complicated. There's a really big opportunity for us at the moment to develop our own brand. But is it a distraction from what is our core business that we're really good at? That's your opinion. That's your opinion, but we won't get into that. So, question for you, Charlie, to reframe this back in a little bit. What do you think a shit entrepreneur looks like?
Oh, fucking hell. I don't know. I think anyone that's having a go, full stop, is doing a fairly decent job. I think a shit entrepreneur is one that really takes the piss, drains their business funds.
Right, you're on the right track, yeah.
Drains HMRC, looks at luxury, tries to live a life of luxury at the cost of, business accounts and borrowing, etc., etc. That's a shit entrepreneur that starts a business for their own personal gain. But also kind of wants that personal gain instantly. Don't get me wrong, we're all in it to make money, aren't we? For ourselves. That's the whole idea of it. But fucking hell, like recognize the time and the place in order to kind of earn that wealth. That's a shit entrepreneur to me.
So to be concise, my view of a shit entrepreneur is someone who, and it's similar, someone who is in pursuit of fake, no, not pursuit. Someone who is in pursuit of materialism, which is what I am as well, and you are, without realizing it. We are, ultimately, because you need money and time to do what you want to do in life. That's the way it works. But someone who is displaying fake materialism, because I think that sends the wrong signal of success to other entrepreneurs that are having a go. So that fake, that Instagram stuff, like really boring. Renting a Lamborghini, whatever. Just not interest me. It's not real. It's fake. That fakeness, I completely agree with. And then I think, for me, a shit entrepreneur is as well someone who is not willing to make the sacrifices in pursuit of the ultimate goal. And that is a bit of a dangerous one. And just to be clear, I don't mean like choosing balance. I think choosing balance is fine. But what I mean is like taking the easy options. So
start a business, play golf twice a week in the afternoons.
Yeah, I would say not really. Maybe that's success, actually. And this is why this is such a difficult thing. So for me, my definition of shit entrepreneur is more to do with the shit choices, if that makes sense. The bad decisions. So a bad decision would be, we've had a windfall year, we've made 100 grand net profit this year, and they take it all out of the business. That is a shit entrepreneur.
That is a shit entrepreneur.
A great entrepreneur in that scenario takes a little bit out for himself, rewards himself. And this is net profit after directors' remuneration. So they've paid themselves a steady salary. But rather than taking 100 grand out, they take 20 grand out. They leave 80 grand in, they reinvest it. That's my view of a great entrepreneur, is someone that is organically growing something steadily. And I think unfortunately there are a lot of shit entrepreneurs out there, but that's just a reflection of society as a whole. That's my Machiavelli.
Social media doesn't help with that, does it? I mean, everything's a fugazi.
Yeah, fugazi.
It is, and I think people. It's interesting because we are having that same conversation this week. Is that with all the things that kind of like we want to do, where we want to get to? I was saying to Tom, I was like, we need a fucking war chest. Like we need a war chest, and we've never got to that point where we have any cash right now. I mean, like cash goes as soon as it comes in. We're constantly cycling. We're constantly paying down debt on new machinery. We've always had new machinery when we didn't necessarily need the new machinery. We've always kind of been ahead of that curve. You know, we took 2 people on when we probably could have done with 1. Like all those things we're still like fighting through. So, and I wouldn't say I'm a great entrepreneur yet, but I think that those sort of signals are me kind of like prioritizing the business and its growth and its longevity as opposed to my own personal gain. Because the easy way out would have been, we stay at a certain size, we reduce our overheads even more. We've got a customer base. Let's try and cling on to them as long as we possibly can, and let's try and maximize the amount of profit that we can take for ourselves. Yeah. But there's only so long in that, isn't there?
I think a shit entrepreneur is also someone that doesn't recognise and reward staff, like isn't kind and helpful. And I've been a bit of a tyrant at times, I would say. I don't think I think my staff that have worked hard for me and been loyal, they know I appreciate them. Staff that have been unloyal and unhardworking, they know live by the sword, die by the sword. Like if you want to play that game, that's how it pans out for you. We have in our business we don't tolerate average. That's just the way we operate. So
can't really afford to these days, mate.
What you say?
You can't really afford to these days, can you?
No, I think a shit entrepreneur is someone that walks past problems.
Yeah,
to be honest with you, that's a shit entrepreneur. I think, yeah. This is a very emotive topic. It is. Actually.
It is,
and it might piss some people off in the comments. I think if you're listening to founder-led entrepreneurial content, you're at least a good entrepreneur. Do you know what I mean? And I think the definition of a good entrepreneur is someone that is aspiring to be a great entrepreneur in their own definition. And that doesn't mean monetary revenue. It's got nothing to do with revenue. It's to do with something that you've created, something that you've built, something that excites you, something that interests you. You're in pursuit of that long-term goal. That is what makes a great entrepreneur, in my opinion. And if for some people that is balance, like I was chatting to Paul from Dispatch Bros, he's like, I don't want to go, and I don't want to speak for him, but I will a little bit. He says, like, I don't want to go to these big numbers. Like, I'm happy where we are, but I like solving little issues and I like doing this. And I sent him a voice note back and I was like, listen, right, relatively, if you were to talk about yourself, if someone else were to talk about you, they'd look at you and go, this guy's a great entrepreneur. This guy, Paul, has built a 3PL business. They've got Strings Direct. They own the freehold property. It's a proper family business. They have succeeded.
The ecosystem is good.
Yeah, he's built a phenomenal. I think he's an exceptional entrepreneur. Paul from Dispatch Bros. I think he's exceptional, and I think he agrees. But his concept is like, you don't need to risk everything all the time.
No, I don't think so either.
That's his belief.
I'm with him on that. We had that same conversation when we spoke.
It's about measured risk, but the risk is relative, because some people will look at Paul and they'd go, fucking hell, he's risking a lot. Jesus Christ, look at all the staff he's got. Look at the fucking warehouse he's got. Look at the business rates he's got to pay. God, he's got to make sure he's got all these orders get out the door. That's a lot of risk. I don't want that risk. God, he's crazy. His risk is unbalanced. But it's all relative. Whereas maybe someone like me will look at, say, James Sinclair and one moment admire him and one moment go, is he risking too much right now? And have an opinion. Like, people have different perspectives. So, and my view on James Sinclair is like, I think I had a call yesterday, and I know I'm big monologue here, but I just want you to hear this. And for people listening, I had a call yesterday with another business owner in the e-com resale space doing 25 million quid turnover. They're on a growth trajectory, setting up a warehouse in the Netherlands at the moment. And he immediately said, "Oh, do you watch James Sinclair?" And I was like, "I do." And he was like, "Yeah, that guy's exceptional. He's amazing." But then I've also had conversations with people where they're like, "Oh, James Sinclair, no, he's doing too much." So it's perspective. That's what I'm saying.
It's a very unique analysis, isn't it? That perception of risk and also the perception of success as well is very unique to the individual, I think. Yeah. It's an interesting one. It's one of those ones you could literally talk about fucking all day, all week, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
And still probably not come to like a conclusion or a definition of what you think either one is. I think we're all trying to find it as well, aren't we? We're all trying to find and I think as well, another thing is that what successful looked like to me 6 months ago doesn't look the same to me now, and it probably won't the same in a few months' time, and it probably won't in a few months' time after that. It's like that is constantly evolving, constantly changing. Some days it might go backwards, and I might think I was more successful 6 months ago. I might think I'm more successful 6 months after. It's like what is it? Are we happy right now? And yeah.
And I think it leads back to that success question and that North Star. And I think ultimately what my goal is I want to experience life. I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to eat lots of different foods. I want to be healthy. But I also want to build a monopoly. And those things don't come necessarily hand in hand. So I have to strike a balance.
Yeah.
And I'm going to build a monopoly in country clothing like that.
Yeah, I don't doubt that for a moment.
That's 100% going to happen. Like there won't be a scenario. I think in 10 years' time, we'll have a handful of retail competitors, but they'll be doing a tenth of the revenue. And interestingly, that guy I spoke to yesterday, the space he's in, he's kind of achieved that a little bit, which was fascinating. Like most of his competitors, he doesn't have a competitor that's a similar size. Everyone is smaller. So he's achieved that kind of JD group of his little niche clothing area. And I was like, fascinating. Yeah. I mean, but basically what we're saying is the yardstick that we use in the kind of the measurement, it's not about money turnover, freedom, impact, resilience, headcount, all these different things. It's more to do with, it's relative to the individual, but it's also, there's like a fundamental level of behavior, which then if you are behaving in this particular way, it does make you a shit entrepreneur. That's why it's just about being a good and a bad person and being a good person. Do you know what I mean? And there's just a minimum threshold for that, I think.
What do you think the key takeaway is for the listener from this episode so far?
Oh, God.
What do you think people should be thinking about if they're not already?
I think a couple of things. What your North Star is, why you're doing what you're doing, what your goals are in business and life. And then also think about those bad behavior points that we discussed around being a shit entrepreneur. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that bell end with a Porsche 911 when your business is only making 30 grand net profit a year. Like, get a life, get a grip. Protect the cash, protect the business. The business has to thrive. What about you?
No, I think that summarizes it well.
Claude's question of the week.
Hit me. This has been deep, so let's get ready.
So this kind of flips on its head slightly.
Oh, fucking.
If you had to be judged as an entrepreneur for the rest of your career by one single number, and it could not be revenue or profit, what number would you choose? And why does that one matter more than the money?
Head count.
Why?
Because what I created would have helped X number of people and X number of families and put food on the table, provide safety and security for people that didn't want to do what I've been willing and wanted to do.
Yeah, it's like a byproduct of your success.
Yeah, I think so. It's a difficult conversation to have in it in the world of like AI when we're talking about automation, AI, agents, all those sorts of things. You're thinking, what does it look like what does the landscape or the working landscape look like in X number of years? But you think at the moment, and I'm not saying everyone is solely reliant on us, don't get me wrong, because a lot of the people that we employ are part-time, but the fact that I know we're supporting, like, for example, my parents, Tom's parents, Tom's brother, Tom and his family and his child, my children, Charlie and her children, Katie, and then, the conversations I've had with Viv, which is, part of an ongoing strategy change from a financial point of view, which we need to undertake and are starting to. But like, she's worked for us for 27 years, and the one she works with a couple of companies a week now, and the one she doesn't want to give up is us. And you think, that's a good feeling, right?
100%. So for me, the measure of success would be
turnover.
No, interestingly. Well, I think it is that, well, we can't pick that. We've excluded revenue or profit.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's average salary of employees. So if you take the total wage bill and divide it by the total number of employees in the business, what I want to see happen is on average that go up and go up above inflation and be disproportionate to the rest of the market.
Yeah.
Because for me, that will be, and for me to hit other goals to do with profitability and stuff like that. So not just reduce my profitability, like that wouldn't be logical, but what I'm saying is we become so efficient and better at what we do than anyone else. We can afford to pay our team disproportionately more than the market dictates.
Yeah.
Not like massively, but allow them to earn really good money. And that means short and medium term sacrifices as well. But it also means not tolerating average people and getting rid of shit people.
Yeah. I like that.
Because you're protecting what you've got there. You're building a moat and going, if you want to be in this fortress with us, you have to prove yourself. You have to be exceptional. If you're not, goodbye. We don't want you. So it's not about headcount, because headcount to me means revenue growth. So more it's about efficiency. Bonus Claude question of the week. I'm going to hit you with this. What is the one measure of success you would be a bit ashamed to admit yourself, admit that you still judge yourself by, even though you know deep down it is the wrong one? For me, it's revenue. For me, it's what you presumed I would say, which is, I think, deep down.
I thought we weren't allowed to talk that. We weren't allowed to talk about that a minute ago.
No, yeah. But what I'm saying is,
we are on this one.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, what do you think is the one measure of success you'd be a bit ashamed to admit you still judge yourself by, even though you know deep down it is the wrong one? And I'm saying revenue, because I think for me, and I think it's partially okay, it's partially not, but for the pursuit of what my big picture goal is, which is monopoly, I need to be doing a big number. I need to be doing revenue. But really, like, is that a vanity number? Probably.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I would agree with you on that regard. But my old man always used to say to me, turnover's vanity, profit is sanity.
I'd be intrigued to what people think in terms of their measurement is, how they measure, how they would measure their own success if it's not in revenue and profit. And also comment below whether or not you think you have in the past or are right now behaving a little bit like a shit entrepreneur, because I definitely have. I've definitely made mistakes. And I think it takes a lot to stand up and be counted in that way and say, I've been a bit of a shit entrepreneur at times. I 100% have. Yeah.
God, deep session today.
Yeah, there we are, very philosophical.
I have to go and lay down on the couch now after that therapy session.
Okay, now, yeah.
Crikey, Moses.
Sally gave us a 5-star on Spotify.
God, you don't have to find us some 5-starers, don't you?
She came through. She pulled through for me. Appreciate you, Sally. So if you're listening, you haven't given us a 5-star rating on Spotify, please unsubscribe. We don't want you. Just go.
Yeah, please do it.
Yeah, be very kind. And if you've made it this far, why are you not? Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, it must be all right if you're listening to 53 minutes of us.
Have you checked if Tom has given us 5 stars yet?
Yeah, he told me he has. I don't really know how to check, to be honest with you. How do I check?
Well, you don't know how to check, right? Well, I think there needs to be like a bit of an intervention in the office and just take his phone. You're bigger than him. I reckon you could take him.
I could take him. Don't get me wrong.
Just sit on him.
No, I don't. Really know
I don't know why. I always thought you were like a little midget, but when we met, you're
taller than you, Matt. Yeah, I'm taller than you, Matt. Yeah.
I was like, how? Because you look so
taller than you, better looking,
just like small and just like malleable. I don't know.
Right. Anything else to talk about?
No, I think that's it, mate. I think we better go and crack on. What time is it? It's 10 a.m. here in the UK. So in France. So it's a nice production.
9:05. 9:05. We get a full day in today. I'm up for it today. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
2 days till the end of month. Today and tomorrow to make a difference, to make a change for those KPIs. Here we go.
There we are.
What can we find today?
Right. Thank you very much, guys, for listening. We'll see you soon. Cheerio.
Ciao for now.